Hello, my name is Francois and welcome to my channel, Yoga Total Fitness. Today we'll be doing a yoga workout routine designed specifically for runners. So what makes this workout specifically for runners? Yoga is the perfect activity for runners to do. It will relieve sore muscles after a run and restore that range of motion that you lose through only running. Running without stretching will leave you with short and tight muscles, thus reducing the range of motion in your leg muscles and joints, especially in your hip flexors, your hamstrings, your knees, and your ankles. Yoga is the perfect recovery activity for runners. It will relieve those sore muscles and restore the range of motion lost through only running. Doing regular stretching and mobility exercises in these areas will make sure your muscles are long and strong to prevent injuries, making sure all the muscles and joints in your hips, knees, and ankles can adapt to sudden external forces, like for example what you experience when twisting your ankle. This routine can be done as a post-run stretch or as a recovery on your rest days. Okay, so you're ready, grab yourself some yoga blocks and let's get to it. Okay, our first stretch is going to be a butterfly pose. You're going to sit on your mat, get into a comfortable position, bring the soles of your feet together, bring them as close as you can towards your body, hold onto your feet and just let your legs relax, letting gravity pull them down to the mat. You don't have to force anything here, you're just going to sit here. We're going to stay in this position for 30 seconds. Breathe slowly in and out through your nose, keeping your back nice and straight. Just let gravity pull your legs down, pulling your knees towards the floor, relaxing those muscles in your hips. Five more seconds. Okay, just shake them out a bit. Just take a 15-second breather. Okay, come into the pose again. Let gravity take your knees down to the mat. Once they're all the way down, you're just gonna let your knees pulse here very, very gently, keeping your back nice and straight, breathing in and out through your nose. You can pull on your feet to help straighten your back. Five more seconds. And relax. It's going to take 15 seconds. We're going to go back into that stretch again for 30 seconds. Okay, come back into your butterfly pose. Grab your feet back straight. Let gravity take your knees all the way down. Once you're all the way down, just pulse there in place with your knees just slightly bouncing up and down. You can use your arm muscles to pull on your feet and straighten your back. Ten more seconds. Okay, we're going to go into our standing poses. Okay, the first standing pose we're going to do is downward facing dog. You're going to start on all fours. Place your hands on the mat, your wrists directly below your shoulders. Tuck your toes.
Push into the floor with your hands. Lift your knees off the mat and push back into downward facing dog. We're going to stay here for 30 seconds. From downward facing dog, we're going to go straight into the next pose. Lift your right leg. Bend the knee. Bring your knee to your chest. Push into the mat with your hands. Lean all the way forward. Place your foot between your hands. Bring your knee down to the mat. We're in a low lunge. Shuffle your foot a bit forward, making sure the knee doesn't extend past your ankle. You can grab your yoga blocks here. Come upright. Lean forward into the low lunge, stretching your hamstrings and hip flexor muscles. If you feel your knee extending past your ankle, just shuffle that foot a bit forward, making sure the ankle is always in front of your knee. Breathe in and out through your nose. 5 more seconds. Drop your yoga blocks. Place both of your hands on the inside of your leg. This is called lizard pose. It's going to stay here for 30 seconds. If you've got some extra flexibility left, you can go deeper by bending your elbows, bringing your chest towards the mat as far as you can. If you're very flexible, you can even place your forearms on the mat. From here, you can grab your yoga blocks again. Straighten that front leg. We're going to stretch the hamstrings. This is called a half front split. Flex your foot, making sure you feel the stretch in your hamstrings. Keep your back straight. Breathe in and out through your nose. We're staying here for 30 seconds. Okay, now we're slowly going to go into our next pose. It's called pigeon pose. Bend that front knee again. Place your shin flat on the mat. You're going to have to find a comfortable position here. Everybody's flexibility levels differ, so your pigeon is going to look different to the guy next to you. You might feel a very sharp stretch in your hips here. The goal here is to be as upright as possible. But anyway, your body facing forward. I think the whole duration that we're going to be in this pose is actually just going to be us trying to get into the pose. But anyway, do the best you can. Letting your chest face forward. Just resting into the pose. We're not stretching it too much. We're not. The stretch here is going to be mainly in your hip joints. Okay, slowly come out of the pose, back onto all fours. We're going to go back into downward facing dog. So come onto all fours again. Your hands directly below your shoulders. Tuck your toes. Lift your knees off the mat. Push into the floor. Lift into downward facing dog. Your knees can be bent here. You with your heels off the floor. From here, we're going to go into a low lunge. We're doing the left side now. So lift that left leg as high as you can. Bend your knee. Bring the knee to your chest. Flex your foot. Try and place it in between your hands. Drop that back knee towards the mat. Grab your yoga blocks. And come into that low lunge. Shuffle that foot forward, making sure the knee doesn't extend past your ankle. Once you find your position, you can just stay there and slowly let your body sink into the stretch. We're stretching the inner hip flexors and hamstring muscles. Using your yoga blocks to keep yourself nice and upright. Breathe in and out through your nose. Using your yoga blocks only to keep you upright. Don't put any weight on your hands. You want your hip flexor muscles to support themselves. Okay, so from the low lunge, we're going to go into lizard pose. You're going to leave your blocks, bring your hands down to the mat, to the inside of your feet, of your front foot. Deepening that stretch in your hips. Like I said, if you're a bit more flexible, you can bend your elbows to come a little bit more towards the mat, or you can even place your forearms on the mat. Try and keep your hips square with the floor. Breathing in and out through your nose. From here, we're going to come into that half split again. Grab the yoga blocks. Come back up. Straighten that front leg. Flex your foot. Lean forward with a straight back. Stretching your hamstring muscles. Breathe in and out through your nose. From that half split, we're going to come into pigeon pose again. Bend your knee and bring your shin to the mat. Squaring your hips with the wall in front of you. Suppose you can use your blocks to give yourself a little bit more height here. Chest facing forward, breathing in and out through your nose. Just try and find a comfortable position here. You're stretching your hip joints in this pose. Try and keep your body as upright as possible Everyone's pigeon is going to look completely different because this is quite a technical pose to get into, but do it in whatever way works for you. If you feel any sharp pain, come straight out of the pose. You're not supposed to feel any sharp pain. Just let gravity do the work and relax into the pose. It's going to stay for maybe 5 more seconds. And release. Okay, our next stretches we're going to do lying flat on our backs. The first one is going to be a reclined hand to big toe pose. Lie on your back, completely resting, using your right hand, grab your right toe and try and straighten that leg as much as possible, and pull it towards the back of your neck, stretching your hamstring. I'm going to stay for 30 seconds. Going to reverse and do the other side. Drop your right leg towards the mat, grab your left toe with your left hand, straighten that leg as much as you can. Pulling your foot towards the top of your mat, stretching your hamstring. Release down to the mat. The next pose is called reclined pigeon pose or eye of the needle. We're going to start off, bend your right knee, place your foot on the mat, place your right ankle on top of your left leg. Grab hold of your left thigh and pull it towards your chest. Stay here for 30 seconds. You can also grab your shin, keeping your neck relaxed, breathing in and out through your nose, pulling that left leg towards your chest, stretching the right hip flexor. Okay, and release to the mat. Keeping both knees bent, place your left ankle on top of your right leg, grab your right thigh or shin, pulling that right leg towards your chest. Stay for 30 seconds. Breathing in and out through your nose. Okay, our next pose is going to be a spinal twist. You're going to lie back down on your back. Place your left foot next to your left knee and drop that knee towards the floor, twisting your body, extending your right arm out to the side. Your knee doesn't have to come all the way to the ground. You're just going to bring it down until you feel a nice stretch in your spine. Just going to stay here for 30 seconds. And release. This stretch is stretching your lower back and some of your hip muscles. Okay, straighten that right leg. Bring your left foot to your right knee. Grab your left knee with your right hand. Extend your left arm towards the side and drop that left knee towards the mat, twisting your body until you feel a nice stretch in your spine, keeping both your shoulders on the mat. Your knee doesn't have to come all the way down to the mat. Breathe in and out through your nose, making sure to keep both shoulders in contact with the floor. 10 more seconds. Release and sit up. Our next pose is going to be a bridge pose, or a version of a bridge pose. Lie back down on your mat. Bend both your knees. Bring your heels back until they touch your fingertips. So you want your feet, if your arms are extended back, they must just be able to touch the heels of your feet. And then you can keep your hands in place there. And what you're going to do, engage your core, pull your stomach in, pull your navel towards your spine if you can imagine that. Engage your legs, make them tight, tight legs, tight core, and lift your butt off the floor, forming a nice straight line from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. Navel pulled in and your abdominal muscles engaged and tight, your quad muscles engaged, your glutes engaged, supporting yourself on your shoulders, forming a nice straight line all the way from your knees to your shoulders. Keeping your jaw and your neck relaxed, breathing in and out through your nose. Release and come back down to the mat. Keeping your original position with your fingertips just touching your heels. Just going to take a rest for 15 seconds. Okay, engage your core, tighten your leg muscles, your quads and your glutes. Lift back up, forming a straight line from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. Holding it in this position. Your neck and jaw relaxed, breathing in and out through your nose. Make sure to keep your abdominal muscles engaged. Thighs engaged, glutes engaged. 5 more seconds and release back to the mat. Let's do one more. Let your fingertips touch your heels. Starting engaging your core muscles, your glutes and your quads. Start making them tight and lift off the floor. Forming a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. Jaw relaxed. Breathing in and out through your nose. Hold it in this position. Make sure you keep those muscles engaged, don't relax them. Five more seconds. And release back down to the floor. Okay, next pose, we're going to start in a standing position. Okay, so our next pose is called yogi squat or malasana or garland pose. You're going to kind of work your way into this pose. Start standing up straight with your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Your feet should be at a 45-degree angle. Then you're going to go into a squat. Just slowly start bending your knees. You can use your hands to support you. Slowly go down. We're going to go all the way down as deep as you can. If you feel your feet is not in a good position, you want to adjust them, just adjust them as you need it. Keep them angled out at a 45-degree angle. Support yourself with your hands when you get down to the floor. Once you're at the floor, find a comfortable position. The more you do it, eventually you'll know where your perfect foot alignment will be. Okay, so once you're as deep as you can go, you're going to make sure your back is nice and straight. You can use your elbows to push your knees out, open those hips a bit. You can hold on to your opposite arms to keep those, to push your hips open. Keep your back straight. We're just going to stay here breathing in and out through your nose for 45 seconds. Making sure your back is straight. Breathing in and out through your nose. Again, this pose is going to look different for everyone. Even if some will be leaned more forward, some back, some won't be able to go all the way down. You just go as far as you can. The more you do it, the better you'll get. 10 more seconds. Place your hands on the mat, support yourself, and come back into a standing position. Shake out your hips, shake out those legs. We're going to do 3 sets. You should have your foot position now. When you're ready, you can work your way down to the mat again. Once you're down all the way to the mat, as deep as you can go, make sure you're nice and grounded. Placing some weight in your toes and your heel with your back straight. Pushing your hips open with your elbows. If you find it difficult to balance here, you can maybe grab a yoga block. You can actually sit on it if you need to. Pushing your hips open, making sure to keep your back straight. Breathing in and out through your nose. Place your hands on the floor, support yourself, and come back to a standing position. Shake out your legs. Keep your feet in their position, so you know where they're supposed to go. Okay, get ready and work your way down into your yoga squat again. Keep your back straight. Using your elbows to open your hips, pushing into your thighs. Just stay in this position for as long as you can, or up to the 45 seconds. Just focusing on breathing in and out through your nose, keeping your back straight, making sure you got your weight distributed between your toes and your heels. Okay, and release, place your hands on the mat, work your way up into a standing position. Okay, so our last exercise is going to be a toe stand. What you're going to do is start kneeling on your mat. Sit back on your heels. From here we're going to work our way up onto our toes, placing all your weight on your toes and stretching those toe muscles and joints. So start lifting your knees off the mat. Try to form a 90-degree angle with your toes on the floor. Try and keep your back straight. Get your feet into try and get your feet into a horizontal position with the floor. It'll give you the deepest stretch in your toe muscles and joints. You just want to stay. You can kind of play around and feel what position you're getting a good stretch. And release, bring your knees back down to the mat, untuck your toes. Just giving them a quick rest. We're just going to do one more set. Okay, tuck your toes. Sit back on your heels. Find your balance. Lift your knees off the mat. Bring your feet into a parallel position with the floor, placing all your weight onto the ball of your feet, stretching your toe muscles and joints. Stay for 10 more seconds. And bring your knees back down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Sit back onto your heels. Just giving your toes a quick rest. And you can come back to a seated position. And that's our workout for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember to do this workout on a regular basis if you're a runner. And see you next time.